this is Moni James here. Welcome to the James Way Podcast. So today, I am going to be ringing in the new year with my story, my testimony. Really, it's not all about me. It's just a story of hope, of survival, of thriving in life and purpose. And I want to share with you guys today. So this story goes back about 4 months ago. Let me tell you, I don't look like what I've been through, y'all. Come on, somebody. 4 months ago, my husband, children, and I, now we have 4 daughters, as you're aware. At the time, we had 3 and 1 in the womb. And we were coming back from Branson, Missouri for a work trip during the summer. And my pressure was a little high. However, I've been through this 3 pregnancies before, and so I wasn't extremely alerted. I just basically was monitoring my pressure until it got pretty high. Reached out to my doctor's office. They're like, girl, you need to go to the hospital. I checked it again. It was lower. Wisdom would have said, hey, go to the hospital. But flesh said, I'm not having this baby. If I go to the hospital, they're going to make me have this baby. The very next morning, I had a doctor's appointment, so I just basically judged like, okay, if my pressure is maintained and in the safe zone, which for me, there was a safe zone, even though it was still high, I was like, well, if it stays within those, the safe zone, I'll just wait until my appointment tomorrow. I'm going to kick my feet up. I'll have the girls run around this house and do things instead of me. I have my whole plan of how to keep this baby in at 25 weeks, okay? So the next day comes, I'm calm, I'm drinking my water, I'm doing all my little ritualistic pregnancy things to try to control my pressure. And even in the doctor's office, I sat real still. My husband went to every appointment with me, so I'm sitting real still. I'm quiet. I'm not looking at him, not talking to him. I'm just like, we're going to keep this pressure down. They take my pressure, y'all. It was like 193 over 108 or something crazy. Right? Crazy high. My doctor says, you're going to the hospital, right, girl? I'm like, right. That was exactly how it went. My husband and I ran home real quick to grab a few things because, listen, I wasn't packing no bag. Y'all not taking my baby out. She's staying in there. She's not due till November 28th, and it's August 21st. We get to that hospital. They're monitoring my pressure, giving me some meds and things like that, and my pressure was still high. So listen, y'all, I know how to talk to stuff and use my faith, and that's what I was doing. Talking to these machines, talking about pressure, like, listen, you're going to go down. I'm speaking to it, telling it what to do, and it stayed real high. It got up to the 200s, y'all, that top number. But it eventually went down to like 134 over 80 something. And the relief that was on me, y'all don't even understand, because my other pregnancies where my pressure was high, it never went down. It was basically delivery of the baby was the cure. So for this pressure to go down, look, we smooth sailing. Send me home, right? Nope. The doctor comes in and she's like, I've been speaking with your, OB and the other doctors and this, that, and the other. And we need to transfer you to Hillcrest, Maine, because we need to deliver this baby. Yep. They delivered my baby, y'all, at 25 weeks. She's in the NICU. I'm in shock, but in peace. My husband's right by my side, praying, holding my hand, walking me through it. And if I can just fast forward a bit, because a lot transpired from that point till where we are today. Baby girl was in the NICU for 3.5 months. Her name is Misa Lynn Ray James. She's a beauty, y'all. Beautiful baby girl. She was in the NICU 3.5 months. Just from her very first week in the NICU. This baby literally was born kicking, swinging, and if she could scream, she would have. But due to tubes and maybe slightly underdeveloped vocal cords, if she didn't have tubes down her throat, We couldn't hear the scream, but you could see it. This girl's arms were constantly like this. Her feet were constantly moving. Every time we visited the NICU, if the nurses did anything, she's just punching and swinging. And it was amazing to see this life, this little being, come into the world as early as she had, with such grit, such fight, such readiness. Like she was ready. So even though physically she was underdeveloped, she had some more weeks to grow in the womb, this girl was ready. And let me tell you, she's had a heart surgery, a hernia surgery, all the procedures and blood tests and all the things, that we had been told that this is going to be an issue and that'll be an issue, and just all these things that happen that you mentally and emotionally just aren't necessarily prepared for. Let me tell you, every test was always negative. Even though she had those 2 surgeries, she came out just miraculously. After the hernia surgery, the baby didn't need pain meds at all. At all. Not at all. And the baby was able to come home one day before her due date. Her due date was Thanksgiving Day. And sister girl's running it. That same kicking, screaming, punching, thriving baby is the same baby we have today. She is a little powerhouse. She's a force to be reckoned with, and God has such a strong hand on her life, such a purpose, and we cannot wait to see just what comes from all of this on her end, just her life, her purpose, the plan. And our big girls are so loving and so good with her. My husband is super dad. I am still in shock some days. That's where I'm at, in shock, because going through the process, I wasn't really able to, what I feel, deal with it, because I had my own challenges. And if I talk about myself for a bit, because I know a big focus has been on my baby girl, I had several symptoms, which included coughing, shortness of breath, fever, shakes, just all these things. And because of how she was born, how early, the high blood pressure and all of that, preeclampsia, the doctors just weren't sure what all of that was linked to. So it was basically, let's get this blood pressure under control. And the rest of these symptoms were just kind of pushed aside, because it really could have been anything, And fast forward, I had those very same symptoms after my 8-day hospital stay. Those symptoms of shortness of breath and coughing specifically. The fever would come randomly, but those two, the shortness of breath and coughing, were so consistent, and it got so bad to where, like, right now, hold up, can we stop and just acknowledge the fact that I am talking right now? Because all I did for about 12 weeks, was choke. I would say a few words and cough and choke, and that's what was going on. So I had weekly follow-up appointments, and they couldn't tell me anything. I'm like, I'm still dealing with this. So I was told to get a second opinion, which I was going to do anyway, because I'm like, this isn't right. And the primary physician that I went to, she basically ran some tests, including a CAT scan, and saw that I had multiple blood clots in both lungs, which is called pulmonary embolism. One blood clot in the lung is called pulmonary embolism, and the fact that I had multiple in both lungs, very possibly for several weeks, because it was linked to my pregnancy. The fact that I was alive was the first shock. The next thing was, let's get this girl to the hospital and figure out a plan. And I was given a plan of taking some blood thinners and coming back in 6 months. And that wasn't enough for me. So from the time of receiving that blood thinner and coming home, I knew that wasn't enough for me. I didn't feel confident. I didn't feel secure. I didn't feel well, if that makes sense. I had been through a lot, and this blood thinner made me feel worse. So my husband and I did some research, and we found some amazing minerals and things like that I took a big leap in choosing to take those things. And my health, just the turnaround in my health has been amazing. All of those symptoms stopped almost instantly, to the point of where I'm taking these minerals daily, but there's some times where I go a while without taking them in the day, but just based on what I've got going on. And I am well. I feel very well. I feel very blessed, and I'm thankful for just this journey where I'm at. There's so many details that have been left out, of course, because of time. But I just want to encourage you guys that no matter what things go on in your life, no matter what it looks like, what you've been diagnosed with, what's been said, you stay in the paint where the truth is. Like my youngest daughter says, stay in the ring.
If you get out of the ring, that's not God's side. That is the devil's side.
So what happens when people get out of the ring?
The devil will get you.
But then what you do about it?
Quickly run back into the ring, because then you'll be back together. And God, where's God?
Come on now. Where is
in
he?
your heart.
Yes.
And what she said, the ring is God's side. I don't know how you believe, but you stay in the ring. Stay with where truth is. Stay where, hope is, where you feel you're going to prosper and be your best. Because these professionals, that's what they do. They're experienced. We trust them, right, when we go into these situations. But they don't always know what's best for you. And I'm telling you guys, I'm thankful that this journey that my husband, my children, and I are on has allowed me to live and thrive and be here with you right now. And as we always say with the James Way podcast, it's a new morning. Y'all be encouraged, stay in love, stay in peace, and keep thriving. Love you guys. Hey everybody, I'm Moni from the James Way. Be sure to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Listen, we've got a lot of exciting things planned this year, and you don't want to miss out, and we don't want you to. Also, be sure to subscribe and support our podcast and blog called It's a New Morning. Let me tell you something. We've got some juicy topics on here and a lot of information and some great guests. You're going to love it.
Never giving up. New morning.